when you get that chance to be reinvent, coming into the 6-0 last year, it was funny because it was just like, to me, I just felt like, oh, this is cool. Entering into another decade. This has been fun. But there was that energy like I'm just getting started. Like, okay, now I'm grown,
I
grown.
know. It's like the beginning.
Yes, it really felt like that. And I did the work hard thing for many, many, many years. And it worked for me. It worked for me until I wanted to do something different. If you get offended by my truth, then quit talking to me.
Yeah.
Build $1,000,000 legacy with purpose.
Hello, Facebook community, YouTubers, and anyone else who is deciding to come in on this conversation. Thank you for coming to another episode of Build $1,000,000 Legacy with Purpose. And I am too excited today. I know. Y'all say I'm always excited, but I am. Like, it is what it is. And so, yes, we're going to have an exciting time with our guest today. Tamiko Ruby J. She's an amazing woman. I met her initially almost 2.5 decades ago. And let me tell you, we were just in the pre-conference room having a catch-up time, right? And I was telling her how impressed I was with all that she has done. She has done some amazing things. Let me tell you a little bit about what she has done. She, one, is an amazing person, but two, and I can't say this about too many people, but she has been a successful entrepreneur for over 2.5 decades. Did y'all hear what I just said? You can't say that about many people, especially in Northeast Ohio. Both of us are from Northeast Ohio, so like that's my sister girl. But she has had a profound impact and influence in Northeast Ohio and Arizona in the industry of beauty and entertainment. She is a premier spiritual mentor and coach. She is a premier Reiki master teacher, and she's going to tell you some other things that she has acquired over the 6 decades. We in that same category, over the 6 decades that she has been on this earth. So I am looking forward to this conversation. So I bring to you, without further ado, Ms. Tamika Ruby J. Hey,
Hello,
girl.
hello. Go here. How are you guys? Thank
You
you.
ready to go? You ready to get this party started?
I,
Now, yeah, I have titled this conversation as Energy Impacts and Influences Purpose. And purpose is the intention and the reason for creating a thing.
Mhm.
And oftentimes I hear people speak about purpose like it's this little object that you can pull off of a shelf, because they say things like, I'm trying to find my purpose. And in your bio, you mention about how important it is to work from the inside out, right? And but culture does not teach us how to work from the inside out. They indoctrinate us in working from the outside, everything outside of ourselves, and moving forward in that. And as a Reiki master teacher, I even like the way that sounds. As a Reiki master teacher, I know a little bit about it, in that energy to do with has to do with everything, right? And what I know from my chemistry background is that energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Exactly.
So can you start us off in this conversation about how important one energy is? But before you get to that part, can you take us back to where it first began with you? Because you came upon this epiphany of, there may be something that I'm not getting quite right as Tamiko Ruby right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, so first of all, Marnita, thank you for inviting me to, your platform, like your virtual home. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to always be able to bring the conversation. And as you stated, I always laugh when I hear my bio out loud. It's like, she thought all of that because she looked like this. She over 60. That part. But to speak to the question that you just asked me about, as far as the epiphany regarding energy and regarding Reiki and regarding the moment where it all kind of clicked here, in the now. But I can go back to what you said about energy and science. Okay, so if we think about energy and we think about what with biblical teaching, when they talk about God as the creator, God is the creator. Creation cannot be destroyed. Okay, if we talk about matter and energy, it cannot be destroyed. So when we start thinking about we being a creation of a divine creator, right? If we really look at the idea of how we are created, we know about the 12 systems of the body, right? Because that's tangible, that those systems are an actual thing, right? We have hearts, and we have all of these different areas and different things. We have skin, the biggest appendage of the body. But before all of that came together, when conception happened, that was energy. That at that moment, purpose was placed. And the beautiful thing about our defiantness, what the creator also gave us, was free will.
Ooh, that's
And
good.
that free will is what throws us off. That free will is what has us started to start looking outside of ourselves for this thing that we have inside of ourselves. And the way I describe it, it's almost like, at this particular point in time, have you ever been talking to someone on the phone and then decided you wanted to tell them something or show them something, and then you start looking for the phone that you actually are in your hand, holding in your hand, talking on,
Of
right?
course.
Of
Yes.
course, right? Or looking for your glasses that you have on the top of your head, or you might even have on your face, but for some odd reason, whatever you're trying to talk about, your vision is not clear, but you're looking for those glasses. Everything that we truly need, especially as far as our core, as far as our true heart's desire, it's inside of us. And then I feel that one of the reasons that God put it there is so we wouldn't lose it, not so we wouldn't use it. And it takes us being able to slow down in our culture, and we're from the Midwest. Okay. I'm from Cleveland, born in Chicago, raised in Cleveland. And I was always raised, if you wasn't working hard, hard,
Yes.
then you was out of order. You wasn't doing something right. Okay. And and I'm gonna say this: if there was an easy way, I didn't take that way. I think the tomboy image, I was gonna do it always the opposite. I feel blessed and grateful, like I did things different way. 1984, oopsed up. 1983, got pregnant. Decided I wasn't gonna get married. Had my son. Then I decided I'm gonna do this on my own. Just all of those things, And back then, people were like, "Oh, well, you were a single mom." No, I was single, and I happened to be a mother because I'm not gonna let myself get titled or labeled. Okay. So even in that energy of facing that and working through that and still feeling like I wanted to do this in a way that had purpose and meaning for me. I always knew that there was a purpose for everything that I was doing. And I love beautiful things, and I love beautiful people, and I love art. So I was like, now how are we going to put all of this together and be successful? Because the other thing I'm not going to do is be a starving artist. That's not an option. My parents worked too hard. My family worked too hard. So, but how am I going to do this Tamiko's way and be able to be successful? So, I
I
think,
love how you have dismantled boxes that people have tried to put you in.
yes.
And That doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. I think often people find themselves trying to manage the box that they've been put in, but not you. So can you share with our audience today? Because I think there's a lot of people searching on a way to, I even kind of like, I'm disheartened by the statement when people say, like, I'm reaching outside the box. I forget how they exactly the way they put that, but they do that. And so if you're reaching outside the box, that means you're still in the box. So I want to know, and I'm sure our listeners would want to know, is how do you get rid of the box? Because
That
the
part.
box keeps us stuck.
Okay. So I would say this, and thank you for the question. It's a great question, by the way. I think I have always known, I've always been a free spirit. Okay. And I came from, my mom is a strong disciplinarian. You know, there's going to be rules, there's going to be regulations. You're going to follow my rules. Okay. So in my, as she would call it then, defiantness, it was like, well, why do you get to make the rules for me? Those are your rules for you. So, you know, I stayed grounded a lot. You know, I probably got smacked up a little bit, but it didn't break my spirit. So I think if you ask the question, the whole idea of a box, first of all, I didn't want to be contained. I just always, I was always not necessarily looking for a way out, but a way to play. Like, how is that going to be
Like
fun?
that.
Who wants to get in a box? You know, so if we're in the box, let's turn it upside down and let's bust out of it. You know, that kind of thing. I was always getting myself and my brother in trouble. He was younger. And that I think for me, the idea of being contained, or just because somebody said it was so, I was that person. Even to this day, I still operate in the why. I'm not afraid of the why. Okay, but why? And it gets me, it gets, I don't get in as much trouble with it, but it does irritate people. Because the
You
why,
know,
because I said so, that ain't a good answer for me.
well, what I think as a theologian, yeah, she has her bachelor's in theology. So
Mhm.
as a theologian, authority is inherent in our spirit. And we were never meant to be subdued and ruled over. God did not create us to be submissive to people. He created us to dominate territory. And so when someone is trying to tell us how we should and should not be doing things, I, for one, really, I get a unique discontent with that because I know, and I had to go back to Genesis and reread
Come on,
that in a few times, that he
come on.
didn't create us to rule over people. He created us to rule over everybody else. So when I find myself being subjected to someone else trying to rule over me, I have a unique discontent with that. And it used to not show up in a pleasant way. If I'm honest. And so when you said that, it reminded me how I used to feel, parents or no parents, right?
That's
Uh,
right.
because when we are children, that's when we have the greatest essence of why we were created in the first place. It's only
In the
when we
first
become
place.
more mature and adults that we begin to submit to other people's will over us. But as kids, we have a stronger will than we do than when we become adults. Would that be
Exactly.
true?
That is definitely true. That is 100% true. And I love that you bring up the scripture in Genesis, because God created the heaven, the earth, God, all of this, animals, everything. And then the last form that came into form was humans. Okay. Now, God didn't create a building or a box or a square and then
Did
pick
not.
up dirt blow in the attic,
Say that
put
one
in the
one more
box, and
time.
then say, oh, he gonna need somebody to help him get out that box. So here, let me put him to sleep. Let me make Eve. We were in a freaking garden
Yes.
with running around naked. All right. Man and woman still hadn't figured out how to talk to each other yet, because I still feel like if Adam would have gave Eve the memo, she might not have been talking to snakes. That's just Tamiko. That's just Tamiko. I don't want to irritate nobody. We can have a conversation. Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying, even in that, and when the question came, was that really what God said? He didn't tell anybody to eat it. He just gave the opportunity of a question. So here was the coach. Here was Satan coaching Eve into sin. You can tell her to eat
Well,
apple.
isn't that what culture does to us anyway?
And that speaks to what you talk about, because all we have to do is start creating a doubt or start creating a question, right? Now, when that happens, and we still do it today. So when somebody tells us something, they're like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be, to this day, we still start going along with that. That's out of order. That's out of order. I know, I feel I might have been Eve reincarnated several times, but I know I'm supposed to be free.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever I feel a sense of, and so why are we doing it that way? Or it just doesn't resonate with me. My mom, just bless her heart, she just turned 82. And we are finally to the point where we don't battle. Okay. Because she's finally gotten to the point, like, come on now. We at that age where I'm taking care of you. Okay. So what you want to do? We gonna battle, we gonna still do it this way. Because when I moved back from Arizona back to Cleveland, yes, guys, I'm back in Cleveland. I ain't telling anybody, but I am back.
Be back, y'all. In case y'all
I'm back. I couldn't tell anybody because it was winter and I was freaking out. Okay, but I'm back. So one of the things that we've been able to share now is she just said to me the other day, brought me to tears, and she was like, actually it was on the eclipse. Okay. So I know something happened here because my mother gave me a big compliment. But she was like, you could feel this different, right? And she was like, what do you feel? So I'm telling her what all I feel. And she goes, I get it now. You were always different, but it always worked for you. I'm proud of you. I can count on one hand minus a thumb and a finger the number of times I heard my mother say she was proud of me. I used to want that. And that's the beautiful thing about having your own purpose. You no longer want somebody else's validation for you, even if it is a parent. Okay. So then I got nervous, like, oh Lord, she done said, okay. Oh boy. Are you all right, Ma? You feeling all right? Like, let me take your temperature. Like, you don't have to tease her. And we have a very interesting relationship, but because of the fact that I've always operated out of, it's not to defy you, it's to be me. If you get offended by my truth, then quit talking to me. Yeah. And quit talking at me. Because that was another thing. My mother back in the day, I always giggle and tell everybody she was the only person to ever get divorced in the United States. Okay. So that strict, you guys are going to get it right and all of this. And it used to, trip me out a little bit. And I'm like, well, and I'll never forget, I was in my teens when I said to her, well, why do we have to catch hell because you got divorced? She
like, absolutely.
But that's the way I think. So when we talk about purpose, and when what brought me into the study of Reiki is in my practice as a esthetician, still having the ability to lay hands, not necessarily knowing what it was called at the time, because one of the things that took me back to theology school, because as a young child, growing up in the Baptist church, literally at the age of 4 years old, I got kicked out of Sunday school. Okay. And I got kicked out of Sunday school because I was a little kid, always wanting to lay hands on people, this, that, and the other. But the thing that brought it to a close was I had asked where was heaven. Okay. And so our Sunday school teacher said that heaven was above the clouds. Okay, fine, I'm 4, right? So then my family and I, we actually flew on American Airlines back in the day to Chicago for a funeral. But that was back in the day when they used to call flight attendants stewardess, okay? And they would give you these little pins that look like wings. So I'm super excited because here I'm by the window, I'm looking out, we go through the clouds, you know,
You're
Cleveland
gonna
is
see
great.
heaven.
And now we going up and we go through the clouds and it goes from gray to sunny and beautiful. And I'm like, oh my God, we ain't happened. And then the stewardess at the time, she confirmed it. Like, yes. And I was like, oh my God. So then I get all of the pins
Wow.
from the angel lady. I'm
Is
for
that what you called her, the
the
angel lady?
lady that was on the plane that took us to heaven. And then we went to heaven and we came back. So okay. So I hadn't been in Sunday school in 2 weeks. So when I came back, I couldn't wait. I had my gifts for my friends and, you know, and then this woman, when I told her that I had gone to heaven, she was like, you can't say that. And I'm like, but you said that heaven was above the clouds and we went above. I told the whole story. All my little friends, they looking
Have to
because they
be
had never
careful
been on
what you
the
tell
plane.
kids.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
yes,
I love this story. Please. Oh
yes.
my God.
And she
Yes.
called, and here's what almost broke my spirit. She called me a liar. Now, in my family, lying was like cheating and stealing. You don't lie. So I'm like, now I'm confused. I'm upset. I'm thinking I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, what happened? I got the angel lady and gave me the little, I got everything to prove. So I come out and my grandmother sees my face. And soon as I see her, I bust into tears. And I'm like, and she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, Miss Mary said I lied. I told her I went to heaven and I da 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 da. And she was like, well, uh, Miss Georgia, I didn't, now I'm standing there, I'm mad. Okay. And my grandmother knew me. And she was like, so what makes you think she didn't go to heaven? Well, you know. And so my grandmother had her explain heaven. And so she's like, well, I did tell the kids it was, but I said, she said, so you gonna sit up here and tell her that she's a liar because she's quoting your bad teaching?
Oh, good for her.
So my grandmother, she was like, oh, and I never, ever, ever had heard her because she was like, oh, hell no, in the church. She said, oh, hell no. So she had one of her friends take me. Needless to say, I never went back to Sunday school. I always got to be in a big sanctuary. But to me, I still felt like I had done something wrong because now I couldn't be with my friends.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that stuck with me. Then fast forward to my teenage self, and then, you know, oops, and then, you know, I'm in school and going for biology, but I decided, I guess, to learn about the birds and bees the other kind of way, and then oops, and slips up and gets pregnant. Then decided not to get married. Okay, so then ask the same church to, you know, bless my child, who then tells me they can't bless my child because I'm not married. And I'm like, well, don't we want to make sure that the little heathen child is blessed so they don't have to be like his mama? You know, so I had a lot of problems
Oh,
with
wow.
organized or unorganized religion. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what took me back to school. That's what has taken me to seminary at the tender age of 54. Okay. To really take a deep dive into
Mhm.
the word, into scripture, into divinity, to understand why are certain Christians so mean and so judgmental?
Mm.
Where is this coming from? I've had the blessed opportunity to be able to work with the Renee Jones Empowerment Center. Miss Renee Jones is amazing. I hope she hears this. Working with children that are survivors of human trafficking.
Mhm.
I had one of the survivors who was only 9 years old as a mentor in that program, asked me if I believed in God,
Mhm.
and then sat up and told me that, and I told her yes. And she looked me in the eye and she said to me, she said, I don't. Because if there was a God, why would he let this happen to me? Now I want you to think about that for a moment. A 9-year-old child that had been trafficked for 9 months, a baby. Okay. And I know it was nothing but the Holy Spirit that came over me to give my answer, which was, hey, that was not God that did that. That was men, a man or men. And what men do, that's not God. But apparently God has a plan for you that's beautiful. That one day, I'm not gonna say that this don't matter, but for some reason you still here. And one day it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be somebody's testimony. I'm sitting there with tears. We finished that up. I get in my car, I'm bawling because I'm like, what did I just do? What did I say?
Mm,
But that was a changing moment for me as well.
that's
Um,
good. So
you know,
good.
so it is, with all of the certifications, with all of the licensures and things that I've done throughout my career, it was always in search of an answer. It was always in not necessarily an answer for me, but an answer that might come to me if someone asked a question.
Mhm.
You know, it's one thing to be a free spirit and just be out here. Wow, you're probably gonna be broke. And
Say that one again.
okay,
Ah,
because all of this fun and free spirit and outside of the box and all of this
right.
other stuff, I'm a little vain too. I like to look good. I like to have a fun time, and I like to feel
There's
good.
nothing wrong with being vain.
Okay.
I was having a conversation. There's nothing wrong with being vain. I was having a conversation with my niece. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, image is important.
Yes, it is.
You know, if you think about, let me go back to Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
You were created in his
Image.
image.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder it's so important. So we should not feel any kind of way about wanting to look good. It's a part of our image.
That's it. And when you feel good, you look good. I mean, so often I get asked all the time, because people ask me, I've had a couple of friends ask, why do you tell your age? Baby, I've earned it. If you look like this at 60, almost 61, wouldn't you tell it too? I'm
Yeah.
not, I said, I don't, I have a
You
son that's
look good,
4.
girl. I told you when we got on the when we got in our pre-conference room, I said, girl, you look good.
Thank you,
Ooh,
thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. But
yeah.
I say I got a son that's 40, right? So it's not like I'm trying to sit up and pretend, because I ain't trying to be nobody's sugar mama. Hell, I took care
I
of him
hear
for
you.
25 years. I'm like, mm-mm. Or,
Tamiko, I have watched you for years, like I said. And as for as long as I've watched you,
mhm,
what I know from what I've seen
mhm,
is that you've always had an intention on healing, touching, and helping people.
that's it.
So, can you share? I mean, this Reiki, I know Reiki has been around
For years.
forever, but a lot of people don't know that, right? They think it's this kind of like this new thing, right? And it's
Yep.
not.
It's
So,
not.
can you tell our audience in layman's terms so they can really understand it?
Mhm.
Like,
What is it?
what is it? Yes, what is it? Yes.
Okay. What's today? Today is
Today
the
is the 11th. It's a
okay.
Thursday, April 11th. It's 2024.
So as of yesterday, this is so great that you give me this question. As of yesterday, um, is my 20-year anniversary of being a certified Reiki practitioner. Okay. So what is Reiki? So if I give you the definition according to the Yusui practice, and Yusui is the um, gentleman or susei, Japanese man that term the that came up with the label or the term Reiki. Okay. Um, Reiki is what we call universal life force energy. Okay. What that means is we are all energetic beings, having a human experience, but in the energy that we have something that is called chi. Okay. Now that chi, we practice it in Reiki. They practice it in Tai Chi. It's an energetic form that we all have, that any living thing has. There's a vibration in that. Okay. And then the part is the energy that flows through. The key is what brings it inside the human form. Okay. So in the practice of Reiki, you are able to connect with that energy, meaning understanding or connecting with that energy. And we all have it. Anybody can do it. A 5-year-old. I work with 5-year-olds. They're the best students, by the way. We are able to then channel, and when people hear that word, oh, there it is, channel. Okay. But channel is just another word for concentrate. Okay. On the essence of divine energy or scientific energy, and then the energy or the vibration that is going on within us. That's a little deeper than what most Reiki masters will go into, but I love to because that's what I study. And so in that, we are able to concentrate and based on some things that we learn, not to take anything away from someone that takes Reiki in a weekend, okay, and learn all of the words. Reiki is universal life force energy. Okay. What does that mean? But with that, we are able to then channel or able to lay hands or in thought, because basically what it teaches you is how to think about a natural way of healing. It basically changes the mindset, which brings us back to the biblical essence of what that Bible tells you. So when people ask, well, this is not Christian, here we go. This is another reason that I went to theology again, to be able to speak to the naysayers. Because the one thing that it is not a religion. It is not black magic. It is not any of those things. But here's the beauty about energy. Okay. Depending on who it's flowing through is how you going to receive it.
That's good. Can you
elaborate? Want me to go deeper on that one?
Well, yeah. Say it again, because I think people need to hear that like more clearly, because you're so right.
Mm-hmm.
Who is coming.
So what I did was, since it's energy, depending on who it is flowing through is what you're going to get when it comes out of that person.
And why is that?
Okay, so it's just like this. If that person is operating out of an intention or an ego that they want whatever they want to happen to whoever they are working with, that's their intention. So you are going to receive their intention because you have allowed that person to work with you and through you. I'm old school. I was always taught you don't eat everybody's food.
Oh, that is so good. Because so as a person, and we all are people.
We all are.
You need to make sure your energy is intact.
Exactly.
Consistently. Because if you're unaware where your energy is, anybody else's energy can impact you.
Exactly. It's like this, you look at it a lot of times. And so the beautiful thing about my practice is, and I feel so blessed and grateful for it, is because I don't necessarily call myself a healer of others. I know that the work that I've done throughout these last 35 years, I and through to God have been able to heal. Okay. I have had clients and everything that I've worked with throughout the years that they will say, oh my God, Tamiko healed me. They can say whatever they want. If that's how they feel, great. Thank you. I received that. But in the same essence, like when I worked in theater and in entertainment, and I'll never forget that one of our directors, and somebody was having a fit about a bad review. And he was like, did you do your best? Did you bring your best game to the stage? And they were like, yes. And he said, well, what I would suggest from this point on, don't get excited about good reviews or bad reviews. Just give your best. And I would say that as far as being a Reiki practitioner or anything of that matter, if people have to be careful also of wanting someone, if we go back to the validation or back to that, I want somebody to fix me. Okay. My thing is, I ain't break it. I don't know if I can fix it.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, girl. Hey, y'all, she is dropping some purpose gems today.
You said what's our title for today? What's our title for today? Come on now.
How energy impacts and influences purpose.
Okay. So the energy in which you operate in, and I'm gonna say this, Cleveland, y'all, I'm putting y'all on blast right now because I know COVID did my city in. I'm claiming Cleveland. I
Yeah.
love, okay.
Yeah, it
I
did.
have
It
to
did.
tell you, when I first got back here, I didn't recognize this place.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew we were always a tough city. I knew that we are a city that can often operate out of, oh, yeah, I don't know. It's this, it's that. The always the low, heavy vibration. I'm gonna tell you guys, it took me 9 months to go, hold on, this is not my Cleveland.
Mm.
Okay, it's looking dusty, it's looking dark, folks looking ugly, looking crazy. What is this? This is not my Cleveland. But I had to shift because I was so used to the sun. And it was like, I got here when I left Arizona, it was 105 degrees at 6 a.m. I got here, it was 72. You thought it was snowing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because of the temperature, it was because of the energy.
Yes.
Okay. And so I have literally eased into my practice because, again, I'm seeing a lot of people that, another thing I'm noticing, a lot of people walking with a limp, young and old.
Mm.
Of course, I'm paying attention because I zoom into that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm noticing it's that left side.
What does that mean, Tamiko, when you say that left side?
The left side is our feminine side. It's the side that allows us to receive. So if you're having complications, if you're having pain, if you're having arthritic signs, that's because energetically, you're not allowing yourself to receive whatever it is, joy, love, nurturing. It's that left side. And if it's the left side and its needs from an energetic perspective, what that's saying is you're having a hard time moving forward in this thing called life. Okay. Before
they
we
say, you can tell me if I'm right here. They say, like, because you did mention thoughts earlier also, they say all positive thoughts is stored in the left side. And so if we're not receiving that, then it's impacting
it's pushing against. And
Okay.
so that
Okay, that's so good. Like, y'all need to, like, Cleveland and everybody else in the world too, y'all need to, like, really hone in on what she's saying right now, because not only is it impacting and influencing you and your purpose, but it is also impacting how you connect with other people.
yes. You look at it like this. And the one thing I would want to say about purpose and impact, right? One thing that is very important as far as purpose is concerned is the body is designed. You come in here, hopefully everything is intact. So when we start having symptoms of any sort, a headache, something's bothering us, an inkling, that's the beauty of the design essence of how amazing we are. This is what separates us from AI, okay?
Oh yeah.
So when we start to have those slight symptoms, okay, that's the divine essence of who we are that is giving us that, hey, 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 it might be time to make some adjustments, okay? And so the energy went breathing, something simple. You remember when you were a little kid and when you wanted something or you wanted to do something and somebody would tell you no, and you would just go,
Yes.
and then you would do that. And oftentimes your parents be like, don't be breathing.
Yes.
Or why are you talking if you not? But even that, okay, we're taught like, so now you just hold your breath. And a lot of us will continue holding our breath for the rest of our life. Every time we get irritated, every time we want something, every time something's not going our way, we learn early, hold your breath. Hold your breath.
That's why it's so important. You have to be careful what you tell kids, because you carry
That's
that
it.
the rest of your life.
That's it. And
And
so often
you're holding your breath, you're holding in poison.
poison. You got to be able to breathe. One of the first things you do when you come into the world is you take the breath. One of the last things you do
Take a
before
breath.
you leave here is you take a breath.
Ooh.
We make stuff complicated. And oftentimes,
It's so
listen,
simple. Yeah.
listen, you don't
Yeah.
need a pill for everything. I'm not saying
Oh
that
my
you don't
goodness.
need a pill for everything. I can tell you, looking at me, look here, see this. I am on no meds
You
whatsoever.
need to say that one again, because so many people think they need a prescription for everything. And it's just like
Everything.
that prescription is taking you out of here.
It really is. And so often, like what I'm noticing now, because I'm at that maturity in life where a lot of my friends and clients and that are at retirement age,
Yeah.
or getting close to. And people are staying in positions, or I'll call them jobs, because that's what they call them. I don't like that word, because that word job is synonym for me. It's just over broke. And then
Yeah.
the broke doesn't always mean monetary. Broke can be your spirit. When you
Spirit.
get every day
Mm.
going into a place that you've been going into for 30 years that you don't like, but then you sit up and say that you staying there for the benefits.
That
What's
you
the
might not
benefit?
even live to see to enjoy.
Right. The benefit is that you're going to be able to go to a doctor to practice medicine on you because you all 365 medications and they all counteraction each other. And now, wait, I'm like, wait, how does that make sense? Make it make sense. I'm so confused. Well, everybody ain't like you. We all started together. I didn't know you for 30 years. What's up?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And please don't be taking your meds with your cocktail. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Oh, girl. I hope y'all
So,
have
you
your
know, it's
notepad,
just
'cause
funny.
this is for real. I'm not even gonna get into the biblical sense of that, what you just said, but what I am,
You can. Come
it's in the Bible. Like the Bible is our basic instruction before leaving earth. Like if you need to know
Listen.
anything about your life, you need to. I was telling my niece the other day, I did, and this is being fully transparent. I was born and raised in the church, but I didn't know the importance behind reading the Bible until recently, like probably
Listen.
past like 5, 6 years. And
Come on
so
now.
I learned like everything that I need to know is not in the world, but it's in the Bible. And if what you're
Listen.
telling me is not in alignment with what's in
This
the Bible,
book.
guess what?
This
The
book.
book, guess what? It's not true. I know you have your truth, and I have, this. You say I have my truth, and I'm gonna think what I think. Well, let me know how that works out for you.
And here's what I want to say to that, because one of the things that resonates for me, right, is I've always believed in God. Okay. Always. I knew that I've always felt that there was something,
Mhm.
okay, that was higher than Barbara Jenkins that I was gonna have to answer to. I can answer to her. But I knew that I'm like in my thought and in some of the things that I was doing, one day I was gonna have to answer to a God that was higher than me. And was I gonna be able to explain some of this nonsense? Right. And so I think for me, and what kind of sent me away from understanding the Bible is when you're constantly being told that you're bad or you're not doing something right or you don't understand. And okay, I love school, but I did not, one of my goal was not to major in English lit. So the King James version seemed like Shakespeare, and I didn't always understand it. I don't know, maybe it was just me. But okay, and I'm like, well, and then to when you ask the question, well, if you pay hard enough, that's all you got. Okay.
Right. That's all you got,
But
right.
that's the beautiful thing. That's what took me to theology and now to seminary, because again, I want to be able to translate. So now I understand that why there's so many translations in the Bible. Now I understand, because I can remember reading the New Testament in my teens and I was like, well, why this sound like the same story? Because when of the Gospels, well, I understand now. Yeah, of course it's gonna sound like the same story, because it was four different men telling their depiction of what happened when their walk with Christ. Oh, but why wasn't that explained like that then? I ain't gonna call no names, bless his heart, anyway. But when you but see, that's the thing, and this goes back to what you were saying about being a Reiki practitioner. Everybody might not be for you, because everybody's not a teacher.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things for me as a Reiki master teacher, I am going to teach you about the holistic being of your whole self. It doesn't have anything to do with, okay, you a Reiki 1, you a Reiki 2, what did that, what that, listen, when I hear that, I'm a Reiki 1, I'm a Reiki 2, then what I hear is, and what does that have to do with you?
Mm-hmm.
When I am teaching, the number one most important thing is you. In order for you to be successful as a Reiki master or an energy practitioner sharing energy, you have to be in a healed space. Because the beautiful thing about the way energy works and the way God works, God knows your heart.
Oh, yes. Your heart is your mind too.
Your heart is your mind. So whatever you come out here wishing for and all of that, we know what hope is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want someone working with me and my energy on a hope.
Yes. So let's stop right there. So, like, as I envision you working with people, we're going to talk about how they can get in touch with you, because I think a lot of people need you to partner with in order to get them back to who they were created to be. So, I want to talk about like 4 things. Like when people are coming to, because they coming to you, 1, because they have a problem, right? And 2, to every problem there are possibilities.
That's right.
And 3, for all the possibilities, there are different paths that one can take. And 4, but in order for them to take a path, they need to participate. So I want to talk about the problem. I want to talk about the possibilities, the path, and the participation. So when you think of it in that way, when people come to you, you're just not coming to lay on her table. You're coming to them to access a problem.
Correct.
And
So
she's going to provide you with possibilities and then create a path like, this is the strategy. But I'm going to need you to participate in this way. So can you talk about it within that framework so people can have a better understanding on how the transformation actually occurs?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I would say that what I start with, if a person has a quote unquote problem, number one thing, problem or concern, you've done the first part, which you recognize you're ready for whatever this is to change or be gone. That's the first part. So once they are introduced to me, okay, you start off, you have to do work. The first thing I have people do is then I send them to my website. Okay. Once they go to the website, because that's a commitment. Because sometimes people will call you because their friend told them to. So then they can check that box that I called her. Okay. Now the beauty in it is the intuitive me knows what's going on. That's a whole nother show. But anyway, So the first thing is we recognize that there is a problem or concern. You've taken the first step. You've reached out to possibly see if you want to move into the next step. You said the next step was purpose.
The next step is, okay, so once we've identified the problem, what are there, for everybody have different possibilities of what could be available for them based on
So
their problem. So the next step is the possibilities. So you talk to them about what's possible for them.
right. And I want to, okay, so as far as the word problem, I like to, we're gonna categorize it. Is it a problem? Is it a concern? Is it a crisis? Or is it just chaos? So we'll figure that out. Once we figure that out, and then that's when we go to the possibilities. What are we trying to work towards first? What is the first thing? So if it's actual physical, right? Okay, you've been diagnosed, something is going on, something is broken. I have an amazing testimony coming up. A really dear friend of mine, dear friend, just shattered her femur. Okay. And had emergency surgery done. In that emergency surgery, it wasn't done exactly right. So I had to go in again and redo the surgery. And depending on how this would have gone, this was a person that could have lost their leg. Okay. So I was blessed and grateful that just got back in town. Cool thing was able to do Reiki before the surgery, was actually able to do Reiki during the surgery, have been working with her for 6 weeks after the surgery. And just as of yesterday, she had her x-ray. Doctors are excited. The bone is actually healing and has grown back in place.
Oh my God, thank
So
God.
you can't make this stuff up. She was super excited because she had already started, she was getting ready to go right into the, well, if I lose my leg. Really? We don't have to go into that. So speaking to what you said, what are the options? Do you really want to lose your leg? I don't think that's an option. That's a possibility, but no. So like you say, setting up what's the goal that we want to get to. And it's more so what they want to get to. And you know what, Marnita, I'll say this. We have become a society where people don't know how to communicate. Okay. Folks are used, some people don't talk. And if they do talk, they're not used to being heard. So allowing a person to just speak what's going on with them, knowing that they're heard, they're felt. I think that that's something that has helped carry me throughout my career, because I see people, but I also hear them. I feel them. I hear them. That's so important, especially in the society that we have now.
Yes.
So that's what we go into that part. We're going to come up with an idea and let them sit in that. And there's some energy and some techniques we do to that to get them in a cool space. Because the one thing that we're allowed to say in Reiki is that they say you can say treat, but I'm old school, like no. But what we do allow you to do is you're going to receive relaxation. You're going to receive some clarity and some peace. Once you're able to relax, once muscles, the mind is a muscle. Once you're able to relax, then the healing process can start, because now you're in a place where you can receive some new thought patterns, right?
Yes.
So then that's what happens there. Third one again.
The path. I think you kind of, you brought the path into it already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
We have to believe that it's possible. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight against your principality. I'm not. I mean, I can't, and I won't, so, but you have to know that it's possible, right? There again, hence that free will. But by the grace of God, there go I see you. And what I would say to practitioners out here, Reiki or any other field of service. If you got a difficult clientele, your whole clientele is difficult.
That's a reflection of who you are. You ain't need to even explain that one to me. You didn't need to explain that one to me. I already knew that.
Okay. Okay. I
Yes.
used to giggle because when I was in Beechwood, my studio was in Beechwood, and I had some of the toughest people in Cleveland. And I
Girl,
giggle
say
because
that
I'm like, I wonder
again.
why. Like, but who else would
Say
they?
that
Did
again.
nobody else handle them? I don't know, but I laughed because I knew where I was in my walk. And so, it's like I laugh now because I'm like, oh, I ain't telling them about that.
Yeah, that's good, girl.
I'm in a
That
new
is
place and they might still
so
be there.
good. And
But
so can you speak to, because I don't want people to think that, they're coming to you and you do everything. So the fourth part of this is participation.
I will. My thing is, it's a
Okay,
dance. I love to dance. No. I don't fix folks. I don't do all that. No.
So if
Here's
they're
what.
not willing to participate, then they
Yeah, you
probably,
have to be at a certain place, and I'll be 100% honest. My consult, I do complimentary consults. Okay. My complimentary consult is not if you can work with me, it's if I can work with you.
because everybody is not ready.
It's not, you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? I look at it as far as healing is concerned, there's levels to that thing. Some people are at a very elementary level. They're accepting the fact that they're whatever they got going on, this is what it's going to be, and they're steadfast in that. But they're scared. So they're going to come and see what somebody else has to say. That's not my person. Then you have the next level. The person that
Over this. Yeah, go ahead, girl.
Yeah, you have the next person. That person has all the answers in a bottle. Well, I'm taking this and 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 this, and I'm doing this and this and this and this. And then my kid's a doctor and my sister this and da 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 da. So what can you do? Have a great day.
That's not your person either.
That's not my person. And then and then you have the person that has just said, F it, I done gave up, but I'm scared to die, so I don't even know. I'm just here, help me. Now that one is a possibility. The first two, I can't do nothing with them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, because it's my thing is, okay, we're in a certain situation now, and it might be a health issue, it might be a mental health issue, something's breaking down with a mirror, it might be kids out of control. Okay. And what I say to that, because that's in the Bible too, they ain't your kids. They came through you, but at some point they own person.
Yeah.
You didn't mess up. They got free will. They wilding out. Okay. If you put the bumpers up, they go past the bumpers. Okay. Okay. They will come back around. Okay. So with that, at that particular point, once we have committed that we can work together, that's where the beauty starts. And I can honestly tell you, it's in those moments in the consult. I don't advertise. Okay. I've never advertised, even when I was in the beauty.
Referral. Most of your business is referral.
All referral business. Because I will tell people, and especially in this time, I know this is going to be on social media, and I think that is great. But I'm also old school. I was always taught, if you put it in writing, or you put it on a video, or you put it on a picture, that's because you want it to be read, seen, or heard. If you put it out there, you better be able to back it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to have the conversation, because I know you can back it up. I don't have anybody on this platform, because purpose is so important.
That's it.
I don't have anybody on this channel unless I know that they can back it up, because I've seen them work.
That's it. And we're here. I'm here with you, Marnita, because like you said, we come circle back around. And so it's like, and this is the other thing. I say this, one of my dear students, she got me this t-shirt, or she's getting me this t-shirt that says, I'm vegan because I'm raw, damn it. Like, I ain't for everybody. I was like, I want that t-shirt. I want that
Yeah.
t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
But it and that's why when you ask, I'm like, absolutely. It's not that people don't ask, but if mm-mm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have to be in alignment with who you are. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
We are in the world is like
No,
that.
I
There's
think so many people have lost themselves. And the
yes.
thing is, once you have lost yourself, you just have not lost yourself. You've lost what you have access to.
Yep.
So it's
Exactly.
important,
Exactly.
girl, that part. It's important to find who you were created to be,
Mhm.
because who you were created to be gives you access to everything else that comes with that.
True. True. And that part, when you really, like you say, find yourself, there's a healing and there is abundance in that that
Yeah.
you no longer worry doesn't become something that is in your repertoire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There might be some concerns that come up, but because here's the beauty in it. Like my shutting everything down and then like the timing and everything was like, okay, it's happening now. Okay, go. I wasn't running to anything. Everybody that heard me talk about going moving to Arizona for 30 years. Everybody that heard about the spa ranch for 25. But I'm the person coming soon. Coming soon, whatever that means. Like, okay, still coming soon. Because it'll get done. I don't feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like I'm just stepping into grace. So that time is going to be even
Please,
bigger, better, greater, right?
you
Because
know,
I've
it's amazing that you just said that. Like you feel like you're stepping into grace.
Mhm.
But I also would like to believe that grace was always with you,
Of
but
course.
now you're intentionally stepping into it.
Exactly.
I think
E-
that's so good.
exactly. Because my stepping into grace was me taking off all the armor that was blocking it.
Yes.
Because see,
Yeah.
Tamiko was trying to do it before.
Oh,
Okay. I was
yes.
that one name wonder, just Tamiko, Tamiko, Tamiko. You know what I'm saying?
I hear
Um,
you.
and so now my stepping into grace is taking off all the armor, allowing myself to just be in it. Like you've done the things, you've checked the boxes. Now what? What's the now what? And I want to, my thing is I enjoy working with and speaking with young people. I mean, I think the beautiful thing about the time as such as now is, stuff like the soft quitting that they call, and I guess I was doing that like 40 years ago because it was like I didn't soft quit, I was just done.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gonna move
Yeah.
on. And now these young people
Absolutely.
are doing that now. But I want to look at our generation.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to look at that 55 and older.
Yes.
Okay. And I want my sisters and brothers in that generation,
I,
because we're also a little bit younger. We're right at the tail end of the baby boomers before it went into
yes.
whatever millenniums or whatever. But I'm like, we don't have to be in this mindset that now we're old. I'm going to ask and I'm going to challenge my brothers and sisters in this realm of life, okay, in this dynamic of life. I'm going to challenge them now to be of wisdom, of knowledge. Who
Mm.
are elders? Okay. What wisdom are you bringing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When we're sitting here and we're diabetic, or folks are diabetic and high blood pressure and high cholesterol and kidney disease and all of these other things, why? And all that stuff can be healed.
Yes. Start thinking for yourself, people. Like, don't relinquish all of your power to doctors at
That's
Cleveland
it.
Clinic and the university hospital. Like, stop doing that. You have been given the ability and the capacity to think for yourself. I would like to encourage you, along with Tamiko, to use it.
Yes. My thing is exactly, you know, and that's what I'm saying. And start thinking about, we want to talk about energy, right? Just taking the breath for a moment and allowing yourself to think about, what would life look like for you if money was not an object? Like you had all that you need at this point in life, right now, who would you be?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say what would you do.
Who would you be? Because you have to be.
Who would you be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. And that word retirement, that means you're tired in the first place, so you about to retire. That's why I choose most people right after they retire within 24 months, they're dead.
Right. Because yeah, oftentimes, because I'm at that
Because
age, like people ask me, so are you retired? And I say, I don't believe in retirement. I don't believe in retirement. I
yeah,
just don't.
if you
So,
look at from what I just said, because again, it's that point where, and I'm gonna tell you. So when I was designing my website, and I was writing, because the lady that I work with, Stacy, she was amazing. She she's all over the place. I'm like, woo, I'm a minimalist. I don't do all this, but anyway. But what was funny about that is, when we first launched their website, I was like, something is wrong about this. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm looking at the pictures, I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing things, and I went back and read through, and I had put the word retire. The sentence actually said, I have retired from the beauty industry.
mm,
And I was like, did I write that? I don't know. I don't say that. But what I realized was, at that time, I was transitioning from the beauty industry being my mainstay.
got
Okay.
you.
And so many people were asking. I had just completed an assignment that was from God to work
I
with
like the way you said that, an assignment.
an assignment.
If we began to look at what we are led to do and our desires, they are assignments.
They're assignments. And I'm telling you, since I have started to use that terminology and even think in that mindset, anything past, present, or future to be, I recognize in my prayer and in how I pray and say with God, I know it's an assignment. It may have, it definitely have reason, is going to have seasons. Okay. So
Yeah.
in that assignment that I was in, I realized that I was so done with the individual that I was working with. Okay.
Yes.
That I was like, I'm done with this. So my mindset of being done with this individual that owned a spa, here it was in my writing. I didn't even realize I had put that there. When I tell you, when I went in and simply took that word out, all of a sudden, I'm getting all of these doggone new people coming to the website. When I tell you, words have power, actions have power, all of these things have energy, they have power. Just removing that one word opened up a flow.
Yeah.
So
I caught that part, because words, they're the creator of what you see outside of yourself. And
exactly.
so if you want to see a different situation around you, change the input, change what you're telling yourself, change what you're allowing to come out of your mouth, change your heart.
That's it. Yep.
Change your heart.
Change your heart, because change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer, and so, and I'll tell you this too, honestly, Marnita, I think one of the things that has helped me in life is I do try to keep things simple. Okay. Even in aesthetics, when I was helping people with skincare, it's like 3 steps. And we're not just going to take you off of everything you've done before. Well, why not? Well, because you still have skin on your face.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
anything that we're going to do it step by step. So anything that irritates the skin or anything like that, we'll know where it's starting. I'll know where it's starting. Because see,
Yes.
we can do this outside thing, but until you change that inside, the outside gonna look the same. All
It's gonna
right.
be, ooh,
It's
yes.
gonna look the same. So we
Conversation has been so good, girl. Oh my God. Thank you so
yeah.
much. But I like to always standardize like every guest with some questions at the end.
Hmm.
So we're almost done. So
Okay.
first question is what is your favorite quote, the quote that inspires you when you're feeling you're not operating at your highest level?
Right now, I think the one quote that really resonates me is thoughts become things.
That
Thoughts
is,
become things.
yeah.
Okay. I will check myself quickly, like, mm-mm. Yeah, thoughts
And it's
become things.
okay to take back a word if you
Oh,
say
real quick.
something, like
Oh yeah.
take it back,
Oh, yep. I do
like
the even
you're
the
not
take.
doing
I just
that.
go. That's that. Ooh, the
And
other.
watch the words that other people are saying around you.
Yep. Yep.
Like
Yep.
check them. Like I check because anybody who know me and who's around me, are like, you might not want to say that because that may not give you what you're looking for.
I tell you, I have
You
a three.
really mean that? Like,
Yeah.
and if you did, you did. It's like, as far be it from me to like
Yep.
want to have an impact on your world. Like, it is what it is. You have all the power there. I have, like, I'm
All
just
of
observing.
all of it. And what I'll do to people sometimes when they do that, and I'll just do one of these, and they're like, "Why are you moving?" I said, "Because whatever's about to strike
I
you on
don't
that
want
side,
to hit me.
I don't want it to bounce off me. So I'm gonna just let you be in the lane of that, because that's no
I
judgment.
love
I don't
it.
want it coming over here." And they're like, "Dad, for real?" I said, "Did you hear yourself?
Yes. Yes, for
Did
real.
you hear yourself?" So yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Get it,
yeah,
girl.
yeah.
The next question. What
Mhm.
is one book that has made a difference as you are living out your purpose?
Well, number one, of course, is the Bible.
Yeah.
Number two, and I've read it several times, is The Alchemist.
Oh,
By
that's such a good book.
Yeah, The
Yeah,
Alchemist. That's one of those. I always
such a
recommend
good
that.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Alchemist. And then one more. So we got the Bible, The Alchemist, and then the Four Agreements.
Oh, girl, those are some of my favorites too.
The Four Agreements.
Four Agreements was so, I think I read that like 3 times. I probably need to read it again.
Yeah, the Four Agreements is everything. I used to gift that to people when they finish their studies, but that's one of the ones that I often reference, and those are the three that I reference even in my trainings.
Oh,
um you know, yep,
number
so
three,
that's
what tool do you use to continue to elevate and grow in what you have been purposed to do?
silence.
That's so good. Oh my God.
Silence. I have to get quiet because I love people, and I'm a talker. And I like to I and how I resonate, I can feel energy in everything. So for me, being quiet and being still, especially now, is very important. Very important. Because it allows me to be able to clear, you know, and then reboot, right?
Yeah.
You
I
think
like,
about it like a computer, you know, you might have all those windows and everything open, and what it does, you know, is it slows it down.
yeah.
And if you don't
All that
clear
stuff running in the background.
all that stuff running, and if you don't
Random
shut it down,
access memory is accessing everything. And
every
sometimes, not sometimes, often, I'm not even gonna say something, but often you need to shut that down.
you
Like
got to
clear
shut it
it
down.
out. Cache, clear cache.
There's flash, because if you don't, it'll shut itself down. All right, you have
Yes.
too much stuff going, it just go. So we have to do the same thing. That you know, again, the body is the temple, the mind is the computer, and it's programmed. Your
Yeah.
gut and your core is where your true essence of who you are comes from. The mind is just memory.
Yeah.
Okay. So people are like, well, I have to think about it. What you thinking about?
Thinking about, right.
If your gut
Overanalyzing.
and your core just told you no, But see,
Like,
when you
why are
get
you fighting
quiet,
it?
right, when you get quiet, sitting in that silence, that's purpose. Because people will talk about prayer, right? And pray and pray and ooh, pray, pray, pray. Because again, whether you're saying it with words or in your mind, you know what your voice sounds like. How you gonna know what God's voice sounds like if all you ever hearing is other people talking in your voice?
Mhm. So if you like, speaking of prayer, if you don't know the promise, because he made us a promise. Like if you don't
That
know
part.
the promise, and if you don't know it's the promise, and his like he gave us promise, purpose, and potential, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so he gave us all three of those, and there's principles that he gave us that are indiscriminate of who you are. And
Correct.
they are keys to unlock whatever it is that we need and or want according to his will. So when you're saying I have to think about it, you're trying to inject your will. You don't have to think about anything. Like just go by what he says.
Yep. When you're thinking, oftentimes our thinking has to do with our ego.
Mm-hmm.
And like I heard, and I forgot who I heard this from. It was a spiritual teacher, but ego is the synonym for edging God out,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so in that peace, in that quiet, is so beautiful. Because I
Yeah.
was one of those persons that used to do a lot. I had my body conditioned to only 4 hours sleep
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah.
I used to pride myself on that.
I did too. I did too. I was so unaware.
Right? We thought that was cool. Cause
We
again, you
thought
know,
that was we were doing something. I
girl
was so
doing it.
unaware.
And
Like y'all,
that's
if y'all
I
learn anything,
don't have no
like
dark
one of the
circles
things, right? If you learn one of the things from this conversation, don't pride yourself on 4 hours because I did it for so many years. Like that is not cute,
it is
or
not
is
cute
it healthy?
or healthy and it's ridiculous. And
Yes.
honestly, it's desperate. It's spiritually desperate.
Yes.
It's spiritually desperate because if you allow yourself, there's a difference in sleeping and resting. But
Hmm.
in 4 hours, you're not gonna do either one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This has been so good, Tamiko.
Thank
You
you.
are
It's my pleasure.
amazing. Oh my God. So can you tell our audience how they can connect with you? Because I know it's somebody out there that needs you.
Oh,
Uh
thank you.
yeah,
Yes.
how do they connect with you?
Okay, so we have two ways that people can connect with me. They can actually go to my website, and that's at tamikorubyj.org. They can connect there, and if they mention that they saw me here on our platform here, they will get extra time to their complimentary consult. I also am now doing I have a few more slots for in person, and I am working with the wonderful Z at New Beginning Spa. So if they can give me a call there. And those are the two ways that I'll say do it now, because then that way, you know,
That's perfect. I'll
I
put
like
the
to
link.
eliminate the riffraff. I'm gonna eliminate the
I,
riffraff. We gotta
girl,
get rid
I
of
hear you. I'm gonna put
it.
the link in the description
Okay.
of the YouTube channel, and I want to thank you for
Absolutely. Anytime.
honoring us with your presence today. You are like you one of my faves, girl. Like you are
Hey, touche.
you know what? When we reconnected, like which was only what I want to say a month ago, like I seen you, like
Yep.
that was well, it was serendipitous. I'm not gonna say
Exactly. It
it.
was as it was
So
supposed to be.
it
Yep.
was like seeing you like for the first time, but starting where we kind of like left off. Does
What
that
I
make
tell people is the true people that are keen people in my world, and I say in my world, I might not see you for 20 years, but when I see you, it's gonna be like unpressing pause. We gonna pick right up where we started off. That's why when people be like, "Well, I don't know what happened to Tamika. We not," yeah, don't
yeah.
you know, because that's just the way I am with people. The real recognize real, and iron sharpens iron, right?
Yes,
Iron
yes.
sharpens, and I am so proud of you, and I'm so excited for you. And I am also in awe of your journey and everything that you're doing and the fabulous and all of that. That purpose, that living on purpose, living in purpose. It is so awesome. And of course, it makes us look like this.
Girl, yes, say that again. Look,
Okay.
this is what 60 look like. We are in our prime.
Baby, come on now. Shoot, y'all better recognize. And these are not implants.
I know.
These are
Say
not.
that, girl. So is there like one last thing that you want to share with our audience before we sign out?
I just want to say to everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you, globally and also Midwest. I am excited for this platform, and I am also excited to expand the knowledge of energy work of myself as a spiritual coach and mentor. I'm also offering that now, shameless plug. But more so, if you don't think about anything else, know this, that Tamiko Ruby J said that you are beautiful. And if you don't see it, let me holler at you. Because there's a light in you. There's a light in all of us. That part.
So this is Dr. Marnita on fire with P3 Purposepreneur. And at P3 Purposepreneur, we are pattern makers, and pattern makers are move makers. Until our next conversation, see you next time.
All right, see you, my friend. Thank you.